mistress. I finished forging the gauntlets you asked for.
You need to improve the fit. Keep working at your craft.
Yes, mistress. Thank you. I am merely an apprentice. You'll need to speak to Adrienne or Oathbirth if you want to buy something. I have a lot of things to do. I am merely an apprentice. You'll need to speak to Adrienne or Oathbirth if you want to buy something.
Come on in. We got warm food, warm drinks, and warm beds. Have you heard? There's been another forsworn attack in the Reach.
The Forsworn are a bunch of madmen. The Jarl of Markov should hunt down those troublemakers and kill them.
You're wrong, fool. They're fighting for their people.
Calm down. What's the matter with you? I enjoy this work well enough, but I'm ready to retire. I've been thinking of selling the inn to Isolda. Anyway, what do you need?
Yes, Mum? Oh, yes, Mum. I'll make sure it gets done.
Honest gold for honest work. I assume you saw the Gildergreen? Big tree, all burnt up, in the middle of the Wind District? It's part of the Temple of Kinnareth. People want Danica to do something about it, but I don't know what they expect. People say there is someone in Riften that can change your face, make you look completely different. Do you believe that? The companions? In Jorvaskr? They're recruiting new members from what I hear. Magic is for the weak. Elves, I mean. They keep to that college in Winterhold. They know their place. Of course, there is Farengar. He might be the Jarl's wizard, but at least he's a Nord. Need anything else? Just let me know.
Think you can go blade to blade with me? You'd be dead in 6 seconds. The heat of the battle is the fire that forges the strongest blades. It's an old Nord proverb. That, and a true Nord never misses a chance to test her worth. You've been talking to those companions? Too hot-headed, they cried. Weak, pathetic cowards, the lot of them. It wasn't my fault. I told them over and over that it was an accident. They wanted me to prove my worth. So they threw me up against a young whelp of a lad, hardly old enough to grow his first chin hairs. I guess I thought a woman wasn't strong enough to hurt him. I didn't mean for him to die. Why would I want that? I just lost control. And why not? I could beat anyone in this city, barehanded. 100 gold says I knock your hide to the ground. Ha! Snowback. Good. Chat time's over.
If it's a lady you're looking for, you best look elsewhere. Once Mikhail gets them, they're got. Carlotta put you up to this, didn't she? I'm sorry, but that fiery widow is mine. She just doesn't know it yet. Maybe you're right. I guess I just didn't want anyone to think I couldn't handle one lass. On my honor, I won't bother Carlotta ever again. Some parting advice? This is a local favorite and one of the first songs I ever learned. Ragnar the Red. Oh, there once was a hero named Ragnar the Red who came riding to Whiterun from old Rorikstead.
If it's a mercenary you're looking for, you found him. There's no stronger sword arm for hire in all Skyrim. Best not to walk the roads of
But then he
Skyrim
went
alone.
quiet, did Ragnar the Red, when he met the shield maiden Matilda, who said, "Oh, you talk and you lie and you trample on me. Now I think it's high time that you lie down and bleed."
Sadia, wake up, dear.
Came clashing and slashing of steel as the brave lass Matilda charged in full of zeal.
Another curious mind, is it? Come to Argus to find the answers to all life's riddles. Why does any man seek the comforts of a bottle? Because he's a fool who believes in the lies it spins.
You want a drink?
So, what is it
Now,
you
please,
want to
no more
know?
questions.
Like the answer to life's most difficult questions. Or perhaps its most fundamental ones. They say I knew them all. Well, the truth is, no one does. No one knows what the next life holds. No one knows how to make love stay.
Need something? Until next time.
Whatever it is, it can probably wait.
Need something?
Yes?
Is there anything you need?
If it's work you're looking for, Hulda's the one to talk to. Depends. Are you thirsty? Hungry? Both. If there's nothing else, I have work to do. It's a shame, isn't it? The Gildergreen, yes. It's a bit of an eyesore at the moment. More of a problem for the pilgrims than for me, but not many of them around anymore. To the east of here is a hidden grove where the Eldergleam resides. It's the oldest living thing in Skyrim, maybe all of Tamriel. Our tree here in the city was grown from a cutting of that tree. You can still feel the glory of the mother tree through it. Even its name is an echo. I've thought about that. Trees like this never really die, they only slumber. I think if we had some of the sap from the parent tree, we could wake up its child. But even if you could get to the Eldergleam, you couldn't tap it. Not with any normal metal. Eldergleam is older than metal, from a time before men or elves. To even affect it, you have to tap into the old magic. You'll have to deal with the hag ravens. I've heard about the weapon they've made for sacrificing Spriggans. It's called Nettlebane. The hags terrify me, or I would have gone after it myself. Your spirit is strong. Kinareth's winds will guide your path. It's held in a hagraven nest called Orphan Rock.
He who is both man and divine. Trust in me, Whiterun. Trust in Heimskr, for I am the chosen of Talos. I alone have been anointed by the Ninth to spread his holy word. You have come. You have come to hear the word of Talos. Hello, my friend. If you seek knowledge about mighty Talos, you have most certainly come to the right person. In mortal life, Talos was a Nord, possessed of unmatched tactical skill, limitless wisdom, and the power to see into men's hearts. Talos mastered the power of the voice, and with it he united the lands of men into a great empire. In southern lands, he was known by the name Tiber Septon. Here in Skyrim, we honor him by his proper Nord name, So great was his reign in life. When he ascended to the heavens, he was made Lord of the Divines. If you want to know more, I'm sure you can find any number of tomes on the subject. Because the so-called Emperor is a coward. That's right, I said coward! Oh yes, he agreed to banish the worship of Talos at the tip of an Aldmeri sword. They called it the White Gold Concordat. Well, I call it blasphemy. A true son of the Empire would never have turned his back on our greatest hero. Not at any price. Well, let me tell you something, friend. Cyrodiil is a long way from here, and in Skyrim, we will never forsake mighty Talos. Let them come. I have no fear, for Talos is my ally, and I am his prophet. His word is upon my lips, his voice in my throat. Terrible and powerful Talos, we, your unworthy servants, give praise, for only through your grace and benevolence may we truly reach enlightenment. We are but man, riding in the field of our own corruption. Dawn of mortality. Now walk among the stars. But we were once an Asman who said, "Let me show you the power of Talos, Stormcloaks, Horn of the North, where my bread
Got a lot of steel to shape. I don't think so. Why? Who says I have to be? Skyforged steel is my art and honor. The companions need the best, so they come to me.
Life's hard enough with all these men propositioning me. But that bard is the worst. Really? You convinced that lute player to stop chasing me? I'd thank the gods, but I'll settle for thanking you. Here's some coin for your help. Remember, fresh fruit and vegetables every day.
the realm.
Gods bless you, healer.
I didn't think you were the killing type. I hope you didn't come here on account of me.
Yeah?
So sick. Can hardly stand it.
Feel better already.
Tell me, do you believe in mighty Arcadia, god of life and death? Well, as I said, Arcadia is the god of life and death. You'll find his temples and halls of the dead all across Tamriel, priests of Arcadia, such as myself, perform rites for the dead and sometimes console the bereaved. We also keep a constant vigil against those who practice the vile arts of necromancy. I asked the question because I was hoping you might be able to help me recover something I've lost. My amulet of Arcadia. It's the source of my divine powers and also a sacred badge of office. I misplaced it in the catacombs. I'd look for it, but I have been hearing noises down there. I fear the dead have become restless. Without that amulet, I'm powerless to confront them. Would you be willing to search for it? I'll just wait here and make sure nothing foul escapes the catacombs. The blessing of Arcadia be upon you.
Not many people visit the Hall of the Dead these days. Brother Anders?
Yes?
I think we need more light in here. Maybe a few candles by the benches over there. I'd be happy to move some of the urns further to the right and perhaps place more flowers in the alcove.
Really? You don't have better things to do? Because I could certainly find quite a few tasks.
No, I'm good. Never mind.
Huh? What do you want? I guess you're smarter than you look. I'll take a look at any stolen goods you're carrying. Might even give you a bit of gold for it. Now move on before you get us both in trouble.
Yes? I study corpses. I am, after all, a priestess of Kinnereth. On the contrary, I'm doing independent research on the nature of death. If we can better understand how an injury or illness kills, we'll be more adept at applying a remedy. Although, given the state of the temple, I can see why you'd mistake a healer for an undertaker. I do find humor to flex the more unsavory aspects of handling bodies. For instance, in Eastmarch, there's a priestess of Arcadia named Helgerd. She was a lot funnier than me. Smarter, too. She could pinpoint the cause of death by studying the corpse's exterior. She could determine the time by markers of decay. Two reasons, really. The Temple of Kinnereth, and the ample supply of bodies. It allows me to conduct my research while still upholding my duties as a priestess. Of course, the corpses here aren't the only specimens worth study. There's also the men. Plenty. You just have to ask the right questions. Sorry, that's an old necromancer joke. I couldn't resist. Basically, I need test subjects for my restoration research. The dead tell me how certain ailments work. Unfortunately, unlike exterior damage, it's difficult to pinpoint injuries and disease that happen within. You have to dissect the body and look for patterns. Then you compare the results with healthy bodies that died from more obvious wounds. Currently, I'm deducing the nature of poison. It seems that regardless of the substance, the body has a threshold which cannot be surpassed. This can vary depending on the substance. For instance, the toxicity of nightshade is far higher than that of jasbay grapes. A jasbay grape, on the other hand, can leave you susceptible to destruction magic. All things, when consumed in enough quantity, can kill. It is. There's a story, in fact, of a man who drank from a fountain that was rumored to restore youth. An elderly man, he consumed water from dawn until dusk, until his stomach bloated like a gourd. The sun hadn't set when the man collapsed and died. It turns out he succumbed to water poisoning. For him, water was the source of all death. Similarly, as poison is in the dose, mortality is bound to time. A simple cut, if allowed to fester, can be fatal. While some areas are more tolerant than others, preventing death is simply a matter of restoring a wound within that set window. That's why efficiency is crucial in the field. Many deaths happen because there's simply not enough time to find a healer. True, both healing spells and potions restore the body as a whole, but most of this energy seems wasted in the process. I never implied my work was solely on the dead. I used to experiment on small animals. I'd make cuts in multiple locations and attempt to heal only one of the incisions. If the spell succeeded, I would compare the result to a traditional healing spell, as well as the amount of magicka required to cast it. But this presented a new dilemma. Trapping wild animals isn't as easy as opening a coffin. There's also the matter of the screaming. Animals can be quite obnoxious when cut or burned. It's as if they don't understand the concept of research. Yes, it'd be nice if they could volunteer. Not to be eaten, of course. I suspect that would make it more difficult to eat them. The noises they made were such that I had to abandon my testing. Fortunately, I found a suitable replacement. Me. Twice, but only to heal myself afterwards. The problem is that so far, only one spell has been required to mend both wounds. By concentrating its effects at a specific area rather than the body as a whole. For a master of restoration, sure, the point is moot. Even a grand healing spell is but a portion of their magicka reserve. But for a novice mage or spell sword, the amount saved on magicka potions alone could be substantial. I'm not interested in the politics of race, although yes, I'll welcome any fame or glory that comes with it. There's 3 types of research. The first is done purely for knowledge. The college mages fall into this category. The second is driven by agenda, the most common of which are money and war. Mostly money, but war's a close second. The third is altruistic, or more specifically, in service to the gods. My research follows no banner. It serves the will of the gods and the protection of all those who worship them. If my research is used for war, then I'm not to blame, even if I'm partly responsible. I trust that people are inherently good, because if mortals are corrupt, then it makes little difference what one person does. I've always had a soft spot for sailors and travelers, for whom Kinnereth is the matron. They would often visit the temples and pay homage and tend to their wounds. I marveled at these strange visitors from faraway lands, and the priestess whose touch could bind cuts, soften bruises, and solder bones. But what intrigued me most of all was the concept of pain. It was pain that brought these men to the temple first, and the tavern second. The smart ones anyway. The others came too when the ale failed to cure them. Not one of my best. In any case, the point is this. Injury did not eventuate healing. Pain did. Without it, there's nothing to alert us of danger. And sometimes it acts in neither's best interests. But what fun would that be if it didn't? Trolls savagely beat a man near Chilfaro Farm. He died, but not before they managed to gnaw off half his face. And before you ask, no, it wasn't Nazim. An archer in the bannered mare mocked Uthgard's figure. She proceeded to pummel him to death. Sense was not an arrow he had in his quiver. A summoner attempted to conjure up one of the guards a warm bed. They both burned to death. A bard was attacked on the road simultaneously by an angry bear and a hive of bees. It seems they knew all about him and his honeyed words. Guards have been telling travelers to watch the skies. In the past 2 weeks, 2 separate adventurers have been felled by mudcrabs. A courier was found dead on the road west towards Rorikstead. On him was a letter. He didn't say who from. All right then.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you get to the Cloud District often? Oh, of course you don't. You look like a bandit.
Get lost before I knock your senseless.
see anything you like.
Look, unto Arcadia's cauldron. That's my mother. You don't look so good. Do you have ataxia? My mother says it's a common disease among adventurers. Mama, can I ask you a question?
Of course, sweetie. What did you like to know?
Can't you just brew a potion that will make Grandma not be sick anymore?
I'm afraid not. I'm sorry, little fairy.
But why not, Mama? You can brew healing potions. Why can't you brew one that will make Grandma healthy again? So she can play outside with me.
Just never you mind about that.
Please, no fighting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't mean to make you angry.
I'm not angry with you. You look rather pale. Could be ataxia. It's quite a problem back home in Cyrodiil. Of a sort. I don't have formal training in the restoration school, but something just as good. Within these walls, I have all that I need to brew a potion for nearly any ailment. If I had a septum for every case of rock joint or whitbane I've cured since I opened this shop, I'd be a rich woman indeed. Why? Because I'm a proud citizen of the Empire? Because the Stormcloaks only want Nords in Skyrim? The Stormcloaks can rot in oblivion for all I care. I've lived in this city for 20 years. 20! I think I can teach you a thing or two. Ah, splendid, splendid. It's for a special brew I'm working on. A love elixir like none other. Maybe I'll test it on Farengar first. Oh, but I suppose you expect some compensation. Here. These potions should suffice. Ah, so you're an alchemist then? Come back anytime if you need a remedy. If there's anything I can help you with, you have but to ask.
What's the point of paying for stuff when you can just kill for it?
You'll find tonics, salves, poultices, and potions on my shelves. Browse to your heart's content.
Let me know if you see anything you like. Everything's for sale, my friend. Everything. If I had a sister, I'd sell her in a second. Interesting, to say the least. What with all that's been going on. On the one hand, supplies are harder to come by since fewer traders are traveling the roads these days. But on the other, the scarcity of supplies has led to some, well, elevated prices. All that matters is that I have what you need, and it's worth every septum. Isn't it obvious? Why, the wonderful weather and hospitable people, of course. Not to mention my great fondness for dragons and petty political power struggles. But without a doubt, the most compelling feature of this frozen wasteland is the volley of inane questions leveled at me on a regular basis. Take a look. Do come back.
All crafted by the best blacksmith in Skyrim.
Do you get to the Cloud District often? Oh, of course you don't. You look like a bandit.
Get
Had
lost
enough of fish and fowl?
before I knock your
Treat
fence.
yourself and your kin to a choice cut of steak or a tender rack of ribs.
All crafted by the great Eorlan, May